Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Juan Cristales here, and I am putting together a class on how to build a duplex. I'm going to go through everything, just kind of how to do the site selection, how to plan it right, how to build it right, and how to exit correctly when it comes to that. Now, one of the statistics that I wanted to pull up for the class was these two big companies here, which are very popular. Everyone knows about them. We're talking about D.R. Horton and Lennar Homes. So this is a staggering statistic, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's important for everybody to kind of get an idea of how valuable it is to learn and understand how to build new construction. Mostly because there's not really a whole lot of people out there teaching it or showing how to do this stuff. Everything that we're doing is inside the city limits, so everything is permitted, everything is above board, everything is just done correctly, right? And so for whatever reason, I think people are intimidated because of all the inspections. They're intimidated because of all the permitting and all the stuff like that. But let me tell you what it's worth to these two biggest home builders, what it was worth to them in 2024. And that's what I'm going to show you guys here right now. So for D.R. Horton and Lennar in 2024, this is the number of houses they put together. They built and sold in 2024. 163,087 units or 80 houses, basically. That's how many total in 2024 combined. Now, what is the median home price in 2024? Because this is going to be across the country. This is not just in Texas. This is the entire United States. The median home price in the United States was $418,000, pretty much $419,000 for a house. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that information, we're going to multiply it. So check this out. So if we take the total number of units, which is the 163,807 times the median price range of the house, we're looking at $68 billion in gross revenue. Okay, $68 billion in gross revenue that was taken home by these two big companies. Now, I realize that that's just gross, right? We're talking, I mean, this is the sales price. We have to pay the title company. We have to pay the closing costs. We have to pay all this other stuff, right? So let's talk about what was the net for these guys. And so what I'm doing is I'm assuming based off of their reporting and what they have to report, basically their earnings report was at about a 25% net, which means that 25% net of the 66 or $68.6 billion is $17.2 billion. That is what knowing and mastering new construction is worth to those two big companies. And this is for 1 year. That is a staggering amount of money. Hang on a second. And so basically, if it's worth that much money to those people, how much is it worth to you to learn and master how to build something simple? It's not anything too crazy. We're not talking about, multifamily, anything crazy. We're talking about a single story duplex. We got units on each side. There's a reason why, and I'm not going to go into it here in this particular video about why duplexes over single families, but really it just deals with the fact that, we're getting into a situation now where the economics are better if you have a duplex, mostly because you have two rents coming in, right? So now let's check this out. Speaking of price, if you want to try to do this stuff on your own, which is basically what I did at the very beginning because there was no one around to teach me. If you go through the DIY approach, you have to pay an architect for plan reviews and errors anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000. This is about how much I paid to try to figure out whether the single family, the duplex, whatever, just going back and forth to try to do all this stuff, okay? Overpaying contractors. I didn't know what to pay contractors when I first started. That's the God's honest truth, man. I was just trying to figure it out, trying to negotiate good pricing, not knowing the difference between quality contractors and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that we talk about. The next one is going to be learning via trial and error. Months, years is going to take, man, I'm telling you, I've been doing this now for 5 years. We're building new construction for 5 years now. And I'm telling you that it wasn't that I was making mistakes. It was the mistakes that were being made had to go back and be corrected. So I had to pay for those mistakes. And it took me longer to build. It was very frustrating and just spending a lot of money trying to figure it out because mostly there was no one around that wanted to teach me this stuff. The next one here is going to be holding costs from delays. some of the holding costs that you have to deal with from delays are going to be additional taxes, additional insurance, additional lawn maintenance, utility bills. Like, it just adds up over time when you start having to delay projects, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever the case is. Lack of clarity and analysis paralysis, time insanity. So the total DIY cost for anyone out there trying to just figure this stuff out on their own, and I think that there's a lot of people smart enough out there to try to figure it out on their own. Some of the other duplex builders that I've talked to, they're like, man, I wish someone was talking about this. I wish someone could kind of just would have given us some direction, because we made a lot of mistakes coming up. And this $20,000 to $40,000, is very light. I was speaking to someone actually not that long ago, and they went $50,000 over budget their very first build. $50,000 over budget, man. It's really stressful when you're in that scenario, right? And you're just trying to figure this whole thing out, and you don't have anyone that you can call, and you don't know who's supposed to be doing what. It's very, very stressful. So anyways, this is going to be part of the class. I think it's very important. If it's worth $17.2 billion to both D.R. Horton and Lennar Homes, how much is it worth to you to learn this process? And I think if you start thinking about it, if you can build one project, two projects, 10 projects, whatever the case is, it's going to be worth a lot of money to you to learn it, and it's going to be extremely valuable. That's all I got for you today, guys. I'll talk to you soon.